Hey, what's up guys, TheCampingRusher here. Welcome back everybody to another Fortnite video, and today we're looking at a lot of things. I'm going to update you at where the map is at now, portal-wise, crack-wise, as I have been daily, and we're also going to talk about some very detailed things. Something, I just took about an hour here and I scrolled through some comments, and man, do you guys have a lot of good ideas. I always implore you to comment, and this is why, man, this is why, because oh my god, you've opened my mind a little bit. And I think we figured out a couple other things, and there's some big stuff involving the portals, involving a possible egg underneath Tilted, and things like that that we need to discuss as a team. So again, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Starting off here, an update on the map currently when I'm filming this, and when you're seeing this, we've got a the rift has expanded, consuming the nom sign in retail row, so the nom sign is gone. We kind of knew that was going to happen. And then yesterday, there was a new rift that appeared at Burger in Greasy Grove. So I assume later today, if you're watching this video when it comes out, that Burger sign, or just the burger, or both, is going to be destroyed and consumed. That seems to be the trend. Next up, here's a screenshot of the crack. This was at about 12 a.m. PST, 3 a.m. Eastern. So there it is. That second expansion is starting to kind of create its own thing, its own area. So it's just getting bigger and bigger. And I don't know, man. I don't know what it means, but I'm just keeping you updated. Now, the first thing I want to talk about that's really new information is something to do with these rifts, these portals. And we're going to go and look at two screenshots here. One that I got from a long time, or not a long time ago, but at Lonely Lodge. We're going to take a look at Lonely Lodge. This is a photo right after the Lonely Lodge sign was initially consumed by the portal. And obviously you can see the leftover. It's got that rift, that crack looking thing that's in the sky, but with that circular thing. So it's got that portal vibe to it. But what I've been realizing, and some of you guys have been tweeting at me here, and I went to check it out today, is that thing is no longer there. If you go to Lonely Lodge now, you can see, and this is from, again, around 12 a.m. PST, 3 a.m. Eastern. I went there, and there's nothing. I'm standing in the exact same spot, and the rift, the portal, is no longer there, and it hasn't consumed anything else. So my point is, and I believe this is happening at the motel as well, my point is the initial theory, the initial thought is right when these portals, these rifts appear at these locations, is they were going to start just destroying everything one by one, right? Like it started with the Lonely Lodge sign, then I thought it was going to take down the cabin, then the trees, and then a big point of interest would leak from the crack in the sky and replace that. That was the theory, and I don't know if that theory is completely discredited now, but if these rifts, like maybe it's not, you know, so far we've got Greasy, and now with the Burger, Greasy, Retail, Lonely Lodge, and Motel. So if it's not, and if these rifts are moving around, these portals are moving around, maybe it's not 4 portals in total, but maybe it's 2 of them. I guess it would be 1 or 2 of them moving around, but why? It's only taking symbols of the places. So there's 2 thoughts to this. One, it actually means something and it has something to add to the storyline. I couldn't tell you what that is, and that's why I need you guys to leave some comments. Or 2, it's Epic not wanting to, like, maybe it's too much, right? It's too much power or something. Like maybe all they need is to symbolize, and then they'll just replace it for season 5. That could be the more realistic answer, but maybe there's something deeper than that. Maybe the portals are moving around for a reason, because I don't know. I want to believe that's the realistic approach, is that Epic just doesn't want to constantly be taking away the cabin, trees. Like that would be too much on the servers or something. But then at the same time, Epic just did a one-time event rocket launch that's never been done before on a scale that's so big we've never seen in video games before. I think they could handle this if they wanted to handle that theory that I just initially talked about. What the heck do you guys think about this? I thought it was a big observation that I've made, and that a lot of you guys have made, and we should bring it up. The portals aren't staying there right when they take that first, and it's always a sign, right? It's a sign. It's been a sign or a mascot, the Tomato Town and the Burger, right? So what does that mean? Leave it in the comments down below, and this is the time I'll remind you, touch that like button for me. You don't know how much it helps me. And if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel, man. Join the Rushers by subscribing. I appreciate it. We've been having subscriber after subscriber, and I just want to welcome you. Hope you've been enjoying the videos, and turn those notifications on if you want to go the extra extra mile, man. All right. Moving on. This part gets a little crazy. So this part is totally, we're going away from the portals for a bit. We're going to actually talk about the rocket. All right. And we're going to talk about the rocket. We're going to talk about that monster that everyone, including myself, still thinks coming. There's something, like, the detectives are part of the storyline. We just don't know exactly how yet. So there's something I want to point out that everyone is most likely wrong about, because I've been getting spammed with this stuff and I had to look into it. Let me just get into it. So let's start with this comment. And again, comments are so important. Thank you so much. Leave them down below. You could be featured in the next video if that's motivation. Hughie W14. The footprint has 3 toes. If you take a closer look at the Moisty Merman, he has 3 toes as well. The rocket spawned at Moisty and ended at the foot, so it links. That is my best guess, and I don't know if you knew that. It would make my day like so Rush can see. Well, I saw it, man, and that's a very good point. A lot of people have pointed this out to me, actually. And it is, yeah, so here's a picture of the Moisty Merman. You can see Hughie here, Hughie, whatever it is. He is correct. It is 3 feet, or 3 toes, I should say, just like that that Greasy Grove footprint, all right, that's been on the map since the start of the season. So that does link up. And he's also kind of right when he says the rocket ends there. And let me bring up this screenshot once again. This is a map of the rocket launch, how it worked, the warp, every warp, where it started, and the crack, the engine, where it fell, and again, the crack is the ending of it. So we start off Tilted Towers. All right, we're gonna go into that part in a little bit. Tilted Towers is the start. Then we go to Warp 2, and it's Moisty Mire, like Hughie pointed out. And then Warp 3 is the Greasy Grove, right at that footprint. Again, he pointed that out as well. And then Warp 4 is Loot Lake. I have no idea what that means, if it even means anything. If any of this means anything, who knows? But again, Tilted, Greasy, and Moisty have explanations at this point. And then it ends up going to the crack, to Salty Springs, Dusty Divot, and that's where the crack is now. So he is right. Warp 2 and 3 were Moisty and Greasy, where the footprint is, right outside of Greasy. So he's right in saying that, and there could possibly be a link there. I did want to point that out, and again, I'm here to supply you guys the evidence, to theorize, and then we kind of tackle it as a team, and that's what we've been doing. I think we've been having a ton of fun with it, and I think we're getting close, man. We're getting closer each and every day. Let's move over to another comment here, because this is kind of related. From Charles Darg. Remember how there was a sphere under Tilted? Everyone thought it was the meteor, but the meteor didn't hit Tilted. What if it was an egg for this monster? Rusher, I hope you see this. If you do, know that you are and always will be my favorite YouTuber. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you for the kind words, Charles. But I got to point this out. There was a screenshot. This was, I believe, during the end of Season 3. This is when the meteor theories were all happening, and the meteor was actually found. Like, a meteor was found in the files, and someone had actually photoshopped it underneath Tilted Towers. Now, I have to point out that this was fake, because so many of you guys are believing it, and you're believing it for good reason. You're not dumb or ignorant for thinking this, because again, we've talked about this, but I'll bring it up again. Let's go to this photo right here, and I'm just bringing it over to my main screen. The Noir, one of the detectives, theorized the evil detective. There's 2 things that you guys have pointed out to me. Part of the hard-boiled set, hard-boiled egg, maybe. That's a it's a funny little theory, but the amount of people who have brought this up is insane. And then infiltrating the seedy underbelly of Tilted Towers. Plus, like we talked about, the first warp, the rocket with its lasers lined up Tilted Towers. It seemed that the rocket was trying to destroy Tilted. Potentially, that is one of the theories, that the rocket was coming down and was, with those lasers pointing at Tilted, it was aiming at it. That's the vibe I got from it. So with the Noir, with the hard-boiled egg kind of resemblance there, with the lasers, you had very good reason, and we still all have very good reason, that there is something buried underneath Tilted Towers. Maybe that's where our monster is. And again, we also discussed, and I think I was wrong in this, who knows if I actually was, but that notepad on the back of one of the detectives, actually on the Noir there, that notepad, it looks like out of the ground an arrow is pointing up at that footprint. That's how we kind of for sure know that that there's still there's a monster out there, and it looks like the monster is buried underground based on this notepad. So I thought, based on some coordinates that were leaked, it was going to be at the abandoned house. Turned out those coordinates were for the third warp of the rocket. So I still think there's a monster underground. I might have just had the wrong spot underground. And with that description, with everything I just said, maybe it's underneath Tilted, man. So if right now, if you guys have any idea how Loot Lake could be involved, because if we could have an explanation for that, we could say that the rocket warps, that everything was planned. And I think it was, man. Like that was obviously a massive one-time event, and I feel like they really scripted it out and to add to this storyline. Like they understand the hype, they understand how much people look into it. I mean, just think of me, man. Most of my channel is based off of it right now, but just because there's so much to look at and so much fun to be had. Yeah, I should have a video out for you later today. Who knows what's in store for us today, man. Another day of Fortnite. What a time to be playing video games right now, especially this one. Touch that like button for me, join the Rushers by subscribing if you're new around here, and turn those notifications on. And of course, leave a comment, man. I want to see it. Have a good one. Talk soon. Take care. Good.